There are cars. And then there are Lamborghinis. But even among Lamborghinis, some rise above the rest, not just because of their outrageous looks, but because they shift the entire supercar landscape. The 2011 Lamborghini Aventador is one of those cars. A V12 powered beast that exploded onto the scene with brutal performance, sharp design, and a personality so loud, it's impossible to ignore. When Lamborghini first unveiled the Aventador at the Geneva Motor Show in 2011, jaws dropped. Here was a car that didn't just replace the Murciélago, it obliterated it. The Aventador wasn't evolution. It was revolution. Named after a legendary Spanish fighting bull, the Aventador lived up to its name with savage power and fearless design. Let's start with the beating heart, a brand new 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 engine. This wasn't a reworked Murciélago engine, it was built from scratch. Producing 691 horsepower and 509 lb-ft of torque, the Aventador could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.9 seconds and reach a top speed of 217 miles per hour. This was hypercar territory, but without hybrid trickery or forced induction, just raw mechanical ferocity. But the Aventador wasn't just about straight-line speed. It featured a carbon fiber monocoque chassis, something usually reserved for Formula One and hypercars. This kept weight down while dramatically improving rigidity. Paired with a pushrod suspension system, derived from racing, and all-wheel drive, the Aventador carved corners with surgical precision, something earlier Lambos had often struggled with. The 7-speed ISR, independent shifting rod, transmission was another bold move. It was incredibly fast, shifting gears in just 50 milliseconds, but it was also violent. Gear changes slammed with force. It wasn't smooth. But that was the point. Lamborghini didn't want refinement. They wanted drama. And they got it. Design-wise, the Aventador was pure aggression. Angular, low, and wide, it looked like a spaceship on wheels. The scissor doors, the massive rear diffuser, the hexagonal motifs everywhere, it wasn't subtle. It was art. Weaponized art. Inside, it was equally dramatic. The cockpit was inspired by jet fighters. The red flip-up cover over the start button, the digital instrument cluster, the sharply styled seats, every element reminded you this wasn't just a car. It was an event. What truly made the Aventador special wasn't just its specs. It was how it made you feel. Every drive was an occasion. It roared, it bellowed, it popped and crackled. It was a sensory overload. You didn't just go somewhere in an Aventador. You arrived. In a world increasingly dominated by hybrid tech, digital controls, and autonomous systems, the Aventador felt like a mechanical warrior from another time. It had soul. It demanded attention, and respect. Even compared to its rivals, the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta or the McLaren 650S, the Aventador stood out. The Ferrari was more elegant, the McLaren more clinical. But neither matched the Aventador's sheer presence. It didn't care about being the most comfortable, or even the fastest in every condition. It just wanted to be unforgettable. And unforgettable it was. Lamborghini continued to evolve the Aventador platform over the years. From the Aventador S to the track-focused SV and SVJ variants, each version pushed the limits further. More downforce, more speed, more drama. But the DNA never changed. And now, looking back, the 2011 Aventador feels like the last of a dying breed. A naturally aspirated V12, no turbochargers, no electric motors, no filters. Just raw, unfiltered performance in its purest form. It signaled the end of an era, and what a way to go out. Even today, over a decade later, the Aventador is still a showstopper. Park it next to the latest Ferraris or Lamborghinis, and it still draws a crowd. That's the power of a truly iconic design. It doesn't age, it becomes timeless. From Hollywood red carpets to music videos and video games, the Aventador became more than a car, it became a pop culture icon. Everyone from Tony Stark to Kanye West had one. And who could blame them? But perhaps the greatest legacy of the Aventador is what it taught us about Lamborghini. That they're not afraid to push boundaries. That they'll always value emotion over perfection. That they understand cars should make you feel something. So if you ever see a 2011 Aventador in the wild, take a moment. Listen to the V12 howl. Watch the scissor doors rise. And remember, you're not just looking at a car. You're witnessing a legend.